Okay, good morning. We're gonna start right now. Tanya chapter 10. I sent you in the group as well two links. One would be the document that it's a short translation of the 10th chapter, and the first link would be Tanya in English from the website Chabad.org. But first, we need to summarize what we have learned till now. Good morning. Good morning. We're just now starting with summarization of what we have learned and why, where we came at our journey in Tanya, and why we are here. What we're doing here, why we're learning what we're learning. It's very important. So Tanya is book of the Beinoni, is the book for the middle person, for the person, the in-betweener, between the Tzadik and the Rasha, between the righteous and the wicked. And we, till now, explored the inner souls and how they function. And in the chapter 9, we had the map of the war between the two souls. In this chapter, we're going to learn about the Tzadik and the levels in Tzadik. Tzadik is the righteous person. So let's summarize quick. Every Jew have two souls. The human soul, or the natural soul, is the first soul, and the second soul is the godly soul. The human soul, we can divide it to two levels. We didn't do it much till now, but we can still do, just in general, to say that the human soul is divided to two kinds. There is the redeemable soul, the changeable soul, and there is the non-redeemable, meaning the souls that there is one type of soul that have no goodness in it, only corrupt, and there is the natural soul that have some good in it as well. And then there is the godly soul. Godly soul is not only about good and bad, it's also the core. The core of the godly soul is God. It means that it's search for something above, to God above, and it's in its core, it's part of God above. And the natural soul, both of them, both of the levels of the human and natural soul, they are not, their core is not God above, is the human himself. Now, both souls are function with 10 faculties, and the 10 faculties divided in general to two. 3 of them are intellect, 7 of them are emotions. The godly soul, as we learned last week, is the main tool of the godly soul is the intellect, and through the intellect, it's influencing the emotions and creating them, and the main tool of the godly soul is the intellect. The natural soul, the intellect, is not creating emotions. The emotions are there. The intellect is just navigating what are the emotions going to. For example, if I'm a baby, I would like candy. If I'm older, I want a good car. It's the same emotions, just different intellectual level. The godly soul using intellect to create kind of new emotions from things that are disconnected from our life. We can think about something that is greater than us and create emotion towards it. Now, in general, we understand that a person that is always following his instincts is following his natural soul. And as we have learned, natural and the human soul have some good and bad, because it's take care and important for them, for the natural soul, So the person himself is the one that important. So it will do everything it can to keep it safe. If it's from the lowest level of the corrupt soul, so it will have instinct to do also bad things. If it's from the redeemable level, so it will do some good, some bad, but you can work with it and redeem it. The same thing is with the world in general. The world in general, we learned in this chapter 6 and 7 and 8 that the world in general also divided to those three categories. There is the holy things. What is holy? Holy is transparent. It means that God is revealed there in a in a in a in a simple way. For example, we're taking tefillin. Tefillin is a mitzvah. God is there because this is the will of God. If we're taking something that is not kosher, okay, for example, this is not redeemable. This is not kosher, so it's not redeemable. It's like, sorry, I need to add another one. Yes. So, hello, David.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
It's fine. So something that is not kosher, for example, it's not redeemable. Now, if something is kosher, it not makes it holy. Kosher makes it redeemable. It means that I can use it for good or use it for bad. If I'm using something kosher and I eat it properly for a mitzvah, I redeemed it to become holy thing. If I use it for bad, meaning I ate it just with no good intention, or even worse, I used it, the energy of the food for bad things, so it became bad as the non-redeemable. So those three, and then so we have the holy, we have the redeemable, and we have the kelipa, as we call it, kelipa. The three klipot are the lowest level. And again, we have that in the souls as well, godly soul, and two levels of the natural and human soul. We also talked very important stuff in the chapter 5 and 4 about the Torah and the mitzvot and the power of them, that the garments of the godly soul and the natural soul can have the power to uplift natural stuff to make it holy. It's only by the garments, and the power of the garment is greater even than the soul itself, because the garments, when a human using the holy garments, is basically connecting with God Himself, not with the soul that it's part of God. And the same thing with the garments of the natural soul. The garments can take you down to the kelipa. This is very general. Now, in chapter, any questions, specific questions about what we have learned already? Or we can move on. We can move on. Okay. Chapter 10, we, Alter Rebbe, will talk about two levels of the Tzadik. As we started in chapter 9, Alter Rebbe giving us the map of the war. The map of the war. The war is, the battlefield is the human body. And the three garments. The objective of the natural soul is to control the body and the garments, and that the person will be devoted to his own instincts. And even when a person is only devoted to his own instinct, so he's becoming worse and worse, and he's becoming total selfish in the end, if there is nothing that keeping him, pushing him up. The objective of the godly soul is to control the body and the three garments, and to create holy emotions through holy thoughts, to use the intellect part of the soul to create holy emotions, and that the emotions of the godly soul will influence the natural soul. So the war is not ending by controlling the body and the garments, the battlefield expanding to the natural soul itself, because the power of the godly soul It's like the human. The human, using his intellect, can control the animal. So the same thing, the godly soul can influence and change the love and the fear and the respect of the natural soul. That naturally they are for natural things, worldly things. But the godly soul can influence it through the intellect and the emotions of the godly soul to that the natural soul will also join the feelings of the godly soul. Okay, so this is the objective of the godly soul, that eventually the natural soul will join, and when the natural soul is joining, so the power is much greater because the animal is stronger than the human being. So this is very important. This is the important part of the war, because when the godly soul controlling the natural soul, what happened to this human being? How human is he? And this is the 10th chapter. This is the tzaddik, that the godly soul influenced totally the natural soul. But in tzaddik there is many levels. Now, why we need to explore the levels of the tzaddik if we are not tzaddikim? So this we will get into. As I mentioned before, this book is the book not for the tzaddikim. So why are we talking about the tzaddikim? We will come to it later. But let's see what Alter Rebbe is starting. So in the first chapter of Tanya, Alter Rebbe gave us from the Talmud that there is Tzadik v'tovlo and Tzadik v'ralo. Tzadik is a complete and righteous person, but Tzadik v'tovlo, Tzadik, so it means Tzadik and he is in a good life. Tzadik v'ralo, Tzadik that has bad life. But Alter Rebbe explaining it for few reasons in a deeper way. Tzadik v'tov lo, it's tzaddik that have good in him. Tov, it's good. Lo, it's to him. Tzaddik that have good in him. Tzadik v'ralo, it's tzaddik that have bad in him. Okay, and this is the two general differences between the two levels of tzaddikim. What does that mean? As we explained just now, the tzaddik is the person that have two souls, but the godly soul is in total control of the animal soul. First of all, let's speak in general. What does that look like? It looks like this person, when he feel the need to eat, is because the godly soul telling him that he needs to eat, not because of the natural soul telling him he needs to eat. When he have instinct to do something, is to holy thing. For example, his instinct is to say blessing before eating food. His instinct is to pray at time. This is his instincts. Exactly like a regular human being, his instinct is to do natural stuff. He don't feel the natural soul. He feels the godly soul because it's in total control. So this we need to understand about the righteous. The righteous person is not a learned person, is not a rabbi, is not a smart person. It's not about this. It's about someone that his instincts are godly soul instincts. Okay, so this is tzaddik. This is righteous. Now in those people, there is two levels in general. Someone that have good in him and someone that still have bad in him. Why is that? As we said, godly soul is controlling the natural soul. Now, if the control is complete, is a complete control, meaning the godly soul created with his intelligence, the father and mother of intellect had a son and daughter of love and fear and a lot of feelings towards God, and the feeling became so strong and they influenced the natural soul, and the natural soul is also feeling those feelings, and it have no feelings towards worldly matters, because the natural soul is now feeling feelings and intellect for godly matters. So it becoming disconnected from the instincts of the natural soul, it changing and transforming and becoming exactly one with the godly soul. Okay, Now, one level would be that the all of the bad that was in the natural soul is gone, and this is tzaddik, that is that he having only good in him. And there is another level that the bad that was in the natural soul is still there. It's just not expressing itself, because the love did not change completely the core of the natural soul. The natural soul still stayed natural. It's just not expressing itself because it's feeling all those great feelings of love and fear and respect towards God. So that's why it's like sleeping. The bad of the natural soul is not there. It's not expressing itself, but it's still, the core is still there. What is the huge differences between those two levels? Those two levels seems close, very close to each other. Again, I must say, this is not a Beinoni. We did not spoke about what is Beinoni. This is a person that will never do something not correct according to the godly soul. It just don't have this power. I will mention, just to complete this thought, every person can do everything. Also, a tzaddik can do sins if you really tried. And the same way that we can really try to be holy, the tzaddik can really try to be not holy. But why should he try? It's against his nature and it's feeling its goodness. But it's possible for him. But it's against his instincts. His instincts are holy. Now, in those tzaddik, there is, as I said, two levels. There is someone that, if you search well, you will find that the natural soul still alive. It just surrendered itself to the godly soul. So what is the difference between this tzaddik that have no way to do sins and he living tremendous love and respect towards God in his godly soul, his natural soul? He have no fights between good and bad choices in his life. So what makes this tzaddik different from the tzaddik that have completed the war against the natural soul? So let's explore in very interesting difference between, that is explained a lot of times in Chassidut, between love and pleasure. Okay, love and pleasure are different, two powers of the soul. Those powers are not part of the 10 attributes. They are above them. They are more closer to the core of the soul. You need to understand that in the same way that I have powers in my body, the power to see, the power to feel, the power to smell, the power to hear, those are not close to my core, to the core of my body, the essence, the DNA. So there is powers that above the 10 faculties of the soul. Will, desire is one of them, and pleasure is also one of them. Now, pleasure is considered to be above, closer to the core of the soul than desire and will. For example, what is the difference between will or love in our case? They are similar to pleasure. If I want something or I'm feeling love to something, it means that I don't have it yet fully. If you would love to go somewhere, so you're feeling the love, you're feeling the will, the desire, this is a great feeling. This is a good feeling. For example, if we say that Tzadik loves God, it means that he's here and God is there and he loves him. You cannot be one with someone and love it. When you are one with someone, you came to this place already, so you feel pleasure of being here. So pleasure is less about the will and desire, is enjoying the moment. It's much more delicate feeling. the feeling of desire of love. Both of them are very important feelings. Love and desire is very strong. The pleasure is more delicate, it's like water, more compared to water, still water, standing water. And the desire is compared to fire, is like a running towards something. And when we're talking about the tzaddik that still have some, that have complete goodness, he living the moment. He's not fighting anything. He's not even desiring so much for something else because he's already there. His feelings are more in the pleasure level. The tzaddik that is already a tzaddik, he won the war, but he still have some bad in him. It means that he have some desire towards a higher level. And that's why he have more desire and love to something that the complete tzaddik, that the good tzaddik, I would say, he already above it. So this is a difference between a tzaddik that have only good in him and that tzaddik that have also bad in him. The tzaddik that have only good in him is more in the pleasure level. He's enjoying it. And the tzaddik that have also some bad inside him is more in the love and desire. These differences also can be they are you can see them also in the negative feelings for something that it's not holy. The negative in the complete tzaddik is not in him, it's only outside him, and he's disgusted by it, but it's not some part of him. By the tzaddik that have some bad in him, it means that his negative feelings about something bad, they are different because it's part of him as well, about his natural soul. But we are not there. We are not there. We are people that having both souls equally in the good way. In a good day, both souls are equally. In the regular day, the natural soul is winning. So why are we talking about people that are totally different? Their instincts are holy. They don't feel the natural soul. So Alter Rebbe will tell us later, when he will speak about the Beinoni, about a person that's living the fight between the two souls, that even though he's not there yet, he's not a tzaddik, and he can't be a tzaddik, it's not in his territory. The person that was created a Beinoni, he is not tzaddik. He cannot be there. It's not his fight. But he should inquire some habits to act like a tzaddik. The tzaddik have habits that the Beinoni don't have naturally. The tzaddik have tremendous love to God, and he have a tremendous hate to things that are against God. He's not expressing them. But if the complete tzaddik will see something that it's not towards God, it just he will be disgusted by it naturally. And this something that Alter Rebbe say that a person should put in his system, even if he's not tzaddik, to dislike bad, not chas v'shalom, not bad people, but things that are bad. Things that are bad. Even you can dislike the bad that you have in yourself. Not chas v'shalom again to dislike yourself, because you are people, but to recognize the bad part, the bad habits that you have, and to dislike them. And if you're learning deeply the difference between this tzaddik and that tzaddik, you can learn from the character of the tzaddik, the complete tzaddik that have only good in him, and from the character of the tzaddik that don't necessarily only have good in him. Another big difference that Alter Rebbe explaining about between tzaddik, complete tzaddik, and not a complete tzaddik. Before I continue, there is any questions, any comments about what I just explained? No? Okay. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that we know that he was one of the most special rabbis, and he is the master of the mystics of Torah, and he wrote the Zohar. He said that there is tzaddikim that they called Bnei Aliyah. Bnei Aliyah. Bnei Aliyah is a nickname. It's, let's see how we can. Bnei Aliyah, the ascending souls. This is how one translation translated it. Ascending souls, meaning they're going higher and higher. This is another name for the tzaddikim that they consider to be they are the complete tzaddik with only good in them. So he said that there is only few Bnei Aliyah. There's only few tzaddikim in this level. But what is the name Bnei Aliyah? So Alter Rebbe explained. So they ascend all the natural soul as well, meaning they completed the job of transforming the natural soul to the godly soul as well. Now, there is another explanation to the name Bnei Aliyah, ascending soul, that they think about this. As we said earlier, what is the core differences between the natural soul and the godly soul? What is the core difference? The core of the godly soul is God. The core of the natural soul is me, is the feeling of me. I am important. The tzaddik that transform or don't have from his birth, he don't have the instinct of the natural soul. Who is he? What is his goal in life? Only God. Only God. When he looking deep inside about his character, he see God. Okay? So when they doing a mitzvah, when those tzaddikim doing something, for who they doing it? They're doing it towards God himself, not for themselves. The tzaddik that is not a complete tzaddik, in the end, he have some sense of I, because the natural soul is still there. So that's why when he's doing something, is in addition to his existence, to his feeling of self. And this is a core difference between the tzaddikim that have only good in them. It means that they have only God in them. It means that they have no self-feeling at all. And the natural soul, and the tzaddikim that have the core of the natural soul of the human soul is still there. It means that they have some human in them, and it means that everything they do, it's in addition to this feeling. That's why it's not towards God completely, it's towards themselves as well. Now, this difference is huge in their world, in the tzaddikim world. If this tzaddik has some I in him, or it doesn't have I, it's have only God. But it's also, as I said, about us learning this. We need to remember that there is a concept of doing things only because I need to, not because I feel a feeling. In Chassidut, it's called bitul. Bitul means that there is no self-feeling here. Now this sounds maybe from one side bad, because we're all living in an era of self-expression, but it's not talking about working towards despair and feeling of worthless. It's the other way around. When you discovering the godly part that you have in yourself, it's the greatest powers and the greatest abilities. So when you are, as we explained before, what is holiness? Holy is something that is transparent. So when you are transparent to the godly soul, to the godly part that you have, and so you have a different character, not the character of the natural soul, you have the character of the godly soul. So you can learn from the complete tzaddik, of the tzaddik gamur, the tzaddik that have only good in him. You can learn from him to be as well, sometimes at least, or to try to be, and to think about it, to be transparent. Oh, I don't want to do it, I don't feel like it, I will do it anyway because I'm not doing it to myself, I'm doing it towards God himself. And it will be true even though you don't feel like it. It will be true. And this is one way to compare yourself even to the high level of tzaddik. Now let's try to read from the document that I sent. This is in general the 10th chapter. I will read it quickly. We will see some how the way that Alter Rebbe writing it, more the system how Alter Rebbe wrote it, to learn a bit from the language. We will see some Hebrew words with their translation, and it will be easier to go through this chapter. Tanya chapter 10, the definition of a tzaddik, the righteous person. 1. This explains the status of a tzaddik, a completely righteous person, when a person not only conquers the evil inclination, but actually drives it out and transforms it. They are called a tzaddik. How does this happen? Through the great love they feel for God. This love is so powerful that it becomes a deep delight in God's presence, which feels like a taste of the world to come. Yes, we mentioned a few times that we have heavens. Yes, we do believe in heaven also in Judaism. But what is heaven? Heaven is that the soul, heaven is obviously not for the body. And if we talk about the soul, it means that the pleasures of heaven is not worldly pleasures. This is a basic sense if we think about it, and it's very big news to other religions. But if heaven is God, is spiritual, so the pleasures are also spiritual. So what is the spiritual pleasure? Feeling of closeness to God, basically to feel love and pleasure with and delight from God's presence. And this is the difference between love and pleasure that I said before. Because in every level you can live desire to a higher level, and you can also feel the pleasure of the present level as well. You can always feel both. Okay. Because of this immense love for God, the person completely hates the concept of evil. They reject evil with absolute hatred, because evil is the exact opposite of loving God. The Rebbe emphasizing this because this is a habit that a person should also inquire, as we will speak of later. It's not to go around with feeling of hatred towards the world. It's only I would say, to feel disgust by bad things. Okay. 3. There are 2 levels within this transformation. A complete tzaddik, the tzaddik who only has God, or has good. This person has completely converted the evil inclination into good. They have completely stripped the spiritual garments of evil away. They feel an absolute hatred towards evil because of its distance from God's holiness. And this is the first level of tzaddik. Second level, an incomplete tzaddik, the tzaddik who still has some bad. This person has not completely transformed the evil into good. They still have a tiny microscopic trace of evil left in their animal soul, but it's completely nullified, nullified and submissive to the good soul, the godly soul, like a single grain of dust inside a massive ocean. Therefore, it has no power of expression at all. So this person as well have no, is a holy person and have no 1 second of not good instinct in him. He have only good instincts in his daily life, holy instincts, because the godly soul is completely controlling it. This is what the sages meant in the Talmud when they talked about a tzaddik who has good, tzaddik v'tov lo. The evil inside him has been completely transformed and has become good. A tzaddik who has bad, the tiny trace of evil still exists inside him, but is subjected and completely controlled by the good. Therefore, the evil is infective and bad to him, meaning it is powerless. Fine. Within these two main categories, there are thousands of different levels. The differences depth depend on how much love the person feels for God and consequently how much they hate evil. Because the greater the love for God, the greater the hatred towards anything that opposes Him, and the more complete the removal of evil becomes. In conclusion, a tzaddik is someone who has reached a state where the animal soul, the source of the selfish desires, no longer has independent voice or power. In a complete tzaddik, the energy has been entirely transformed to holiness. In an incomplete tzaddik, it is a small and suppressed that has the person only experience and acts upon the divine good within them. Okay, the Bnei Aliyah, the ascending souls. This is why the sages say about the complete tzaddikim, I have seen the Bnei Aliyah, the people of ascension, and they are very few. Why are they called Bnei Aliyah? Because they have completely transformed the evil and raised it up to holiness. Another reason they are called this is because their service of God is entirely unselfish. They do not serve God for their own sake, not even for the spiritual reward of connecting their own souls to God. They are total transparent to God Himself. It means they have no self at all, so they don't think about connecting their souls to God. If we talk about the flame of a candle, that its nature is to connect to a bigger flame. So the soul is like a flame that wants to connect with a bigger flame. But what will happen to the smaller flame when it will be one with the bigger flame? It will cease to exist. So it doesn't want to be bigger because you will not be bigger. It will not be you. It's just because they want the bigger flame to be bigger. It's only about the bigger flame. Instead, their only goal is to serve the divine need. So what is the divine need? What God's need? What God needs? To create a dwelling place for God in the lowest worlds, and to bring the divine presence, Shekhinah. Shekhinah is the presence of God, back to its source. So I would say a few words about that. So the God created the world, and the world have a purpose, and this is what God needs. The purpose of the world to be fulfilled. This is what God needs. So the tzaddikim, the complete tzaddikim, they're working to complete God's desire. It's not about themselves. So what God needs, that the Shekhinah, that this is the part of the world of godliness that came to this world, should be connected with its source, meaning the light of the godliness that there is inside our world will be used for goodness and serve its purpose. This is the only objective of the tzaddikim, is to do whatever they can do to complete God's desire. Another quote from our sages that Alter Rebbe explained in the deeper way.
Okay, you can go anytime, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, take care.
The Chassid, doing kindness for his creator. Our sage is saying, who is the Chassid? That doing kindness for his creator. What kindness you can do to God? This high level matches the description found by the Holy Zohar about the true Chassid. Who is the Chassid? One who does kindness with his creator. What does it mean to do kindness with his creator, with one's creator? It means that in everything they do, they are not looking out for their own spiritual benefit. Instead, they act like devoted child who cares only about the honor of their father and mother, whom they love more than their own life. The Chassid acts purely out of love and to comfort and bring joy to God. Their entire desire is to rescue the sparks of holiness and the divine presence Shekhinah from exile, which exile in this world, in the spirit, in the materialism that not yet redeemed from their, as we said about the level of kelipa, that redeemable kelipa in each physical matter that there is in the world coming from the redeemable kelipa, there is a spark of godliness waiting for its redemption to use for good. Causing God pleasure and uniting the divine will with the world. Summary of high spiritual levels. Therefore, the complete tzaddik and the chassid represent the ultimate spiritual achievement. They have no personal ego or selfish desire left. Even their spiritual desires are not about their growth, but about God's purpose. They live completely for the sake of heaven, helping the world reach its ultimate divine purpose. Now, this is chapter 10. Now, in short, we saw two levels of tzaddikim, the complete and the not complete, and the main differences between them is the amount of love or the type of love that they have, if it's love or pleasure, the amount of hatred that they have for not holy things, and the amount of transparency that they have towards God. The objective of the holy tzaddik, of the complete tzaddik, is only God. The objective of the tzaddik that have some bad in him is not complete God, is also about his spiritual benefits, not physical, not honor or money. You talk about someone that feel only godly soul. Godly soul have its own desire to be closer to God, so it's me. In Chassidut, this is a huge difference, and if we think about it, we can understand the difference between someone that have no self-desire, not even spiritual desire. This person is totally different from a person that have spiritual desires, that he want to be closer to God, that they feel enormously connected with enormous desire to feel connected with God. And this is two different levels of tzaddik. We will learn next chapter about the opposite level, two levels in the wicked. And then in this chapter 12, we will learn about the middleman. We will start, and we by this complete the first mapping of the territories. And then we will try to understand why the Benoni, learning about the tzaddik and how we can relate to it more. After that, we will start understanding the war better, and then, let's say, chapter 16, we will start to see the ways that the Rebbe giving the common person how to win this war, and what does that mean to win this fight, because tzaddik is out of our league. It's a different playground. Now, as I said when we started Tanya, I think I mentioned it, that the joke goes that there was a need to renovate hell. I don't know if you know heard this joke. So there was heaven and hell become very old. They needed to renovate everything. So they did a whole renovation in hell, and they got new showers and nice beds and everything new. And then the tzaddikim sitting in heaven saw in the window the work is done in hell, and they said, "Excuse me, now hell is better than heaven. Heaven is old as well." So what they did, they moved all the tzaddikim to hell, and all the people sitting in hell, they moved them to paradise, to heaven. And this is what Tanya is doing. Tanya redefined the war, redefined the mission, redefined the purpose of creation, and then the tzaddikim telling themselves, "Excuse me, what are we doing here? What is our purpose?" Before the Tanya, the tzaddikim were the most important part of creation. But now we learn this chapter, so we ask ourselves, so they have no fight. The tzaddikim sitting in their home, their first instinct is holiness. So what is the purpose of tzaddikim at all? Who needs them? Why God needs them? God have angels. Angels are fine. Why he needs humans acting like angels? So this is a good question, and this is what Tanya setting the course to understand that the most important and the only important part of creation is the person that did not want this fight between the godly souls, and they feel both. They feel the natural soul, and they feel sometimes the godly soul, and this is the reason for creation, not the tzaddik that his instinct is holy. So to answer this question, we will maybe come to it later. But I just wanted that we will understand what Alter Rebbe is doing here, explaining to us the life of a tzaddik, and then we understand a bit their fight, their woe. It's not what we think. When the tzaddik do, if he's a real tzaddik, it's not a fake one. So if he's a real tzaddik, when he doing something, it's instinct of the godly soul. This is what we need to remember. That's why we always Hasidim were looking at the Rebbe all the time, because they know that when the Rebbe is doing something, is godly soul, high level godly soul doing something. Okay. Any questions? No? No questions. Great.
No, you're doing such a great job.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Okay. So, if so, we will see you next week.
I had a problem with the microphone, but I just wanted to ask when the job that those tzaddikim were taught law, say some like imaginary people, are there really such persons? Do they exist, or are they just
Great question.
ideal?
Great question. So as we learned, the high level tzaddikim, there's only few in the world history. In the world history, there is only few. And but the lower level of tzaddikim, there is more. I cannot tell you that I met one. Maybe I did, and I don't know him, and I did not recognize it. It's maybe possible. Of course, we believe and think that the Rebbe, our Rebbe, Lubavitcher Rebbe, was a tzaddik, and I mean, you can see it in any way that he's acting, that he's not a regular human being, and his instincts are not humanly instincts at all. So this is easy when you met the Rebbe. I did not meet the Rebbe, so I did not say that that. But yes, tzaddikim, and we certainly believe that in the Talmud and our sages were tzaddikim for sure, and but they're becoming less and less revealed less and less visual, and as you said in the beginning, they are imaginary people because they are not humans in a way. They don't have the core. Now it doesn't mean that they don't eat. As Alter Rebbe said once, the tzaddik, the Rebbe talked about it. The tzaddik, when he have food, he feels that the food giving him the body life, but he more feels how the Torah give him life. So from him, the tzaddik's perspective, he can easily want to say the blessing of food on learning Torah. This is his instinct. Only because the halacha said no. The halacha said no. For food, there is a blessing of food, and for spiritual food, there is a different blessing. But this is the kind of the people. So yes, it's extremely rare, and I believe that's supposed to be some people like this, and we have one of the Lubavitcher Rebbe said, I don't remember which one, I think it was the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe said that in our generation the tzaddikim themselves don't know that they are tzaddikim. They think they are simple people because it's so concealed. Yes. Okay. Anything else? No. Have a good day.
תודה רבה.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Good
Thank
to see
you.
you.